standard was analyzed, support, and opposition, Federalist Papers, Anti-Federalist Bill of Rights, the ratification of the U.S. Constitution. So we took, for race, we have restate a question. So we took our essential question and used that as our kind of our bar there. How did the Federalist Paper ensure rights to all Americans under the U.S. Constitution? Before we got into the race strategy, though, we're going to do a pre-lesson on some of the vocab. I think we mentioned this the other day. The way that they talked back then is way different from how we talk today. And so, you know, the Federalist Papers to these kids is going to look like gibberish. So going through some of the important vocab, a little open discussion about who the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists were, kind of drawing on some prior knowledge, because by now we're probably a week into this topic, and then running a little video segment, some visualization and things like that. And then getting into our race strategy here, we have, again, revisiting our essential question. We took an example from the Federalist Papers, number 51. Why we chose that one was because it was 2 paragraphs. So that gave us the ability to model the first paragraph with the students, showing them how to go through it, and how to actually use the race strategy and identify key words and key phrases. Okay, and then that would have been our R, restate the question. Getting into the A and C, we're going to inform the students, okay, now let's go off and do our race strategy. Independently reading the second paragraph, they know what they're doing because we modeled the first paragraph. And then at the end, for E, that's the elaborate, expand, or explain. We thought that it would be helpful if we gave kind of a guided question to them to complete the E part of race with elaborate, expand, and explain. So we gave them a guided question to help them formulate the answer for E, something like predict what comes from the Federalist Papers, and so, you know, talking about the Bill of Rights and adding it to the Constitution, and so on and so forth, so that they finish out the race.
Alright, for race, we had the standard investigate and describe the transformation of energy from one form into another, and the cite evidence to explain energy in the being or destroy or be changed from one form to another. So what we came up with is organizing the classroom into small groups. 3 or 4 students to start, and we provide each group with textbook, with a flashlight and battery, and also with an electronic device for them to do some research about. But our question was, how does that flashlight provide light? It's amazing that sometimes you think that, okay, they know how to do that, and yeah, they don't know how to put the batteries, the backward, they don't work. So, they have to make it actually work and see all the different forms of energy that are present at that time. So you know that you can start using the information base, okay? That's what we were doing. So you provide the information, okay? And on the second part, after the investigate and describe the form of energy that work from one form to another, we give them a first simulation so they can use actually that simulation to look at energy transfer and look at all the different forms of energy that are transforming from one form to the next one. And it's always, the total amount is always present. So they can test the evidence that that energy is actually always about changing form, always there. So as well, that when we finish, we wanted to make sure that they understand energy in the transfer, so we use the big three. Because it might be surprising to me that energy is so low, so not created. So how does it go if you don't see it? So they're going to use the big three. And what surprised them, you know, what when they're thinking that they expected to know, or they know something about energy, but not everything. and then elaborate finally for the changes that occurred.
I like that you guys used it kind of like as RACE kind of take you through the lesson, which is a cool way to do it. Because a lot of times I think we think of it as like, all right, let's answer a question and use RACE that way, which is great, which is the example that you've been given, but it's a neat way.
Prep, we're ready for class, and then review, read, text, the idea of looking at the big three and Spark. Doing the mic right here. And then you, again, raise the first question with a restatement of basically the standards, right? And expectations of what you're trying to accomplish. And then the answer that we're looking for is the scientific method, how it challenged the prior knowledge of the church, really. Because during this period of time, right? Renaissance and that. Then the activity is Connect 4, which where you will tie in 4 other periods of history to tie back. And you can go to Aristotle and all of that. I mean, you can go quite a ways back to the beginning of the scientific method and how it evolved. And then the other part is elaborate the earliest evolution, the specific theory and product of the revolution itself. By the way, this would be a good approach for AP. I taught AP Human Geography and AP World History, and if they will write this way on the AP exam, they'll do well on this on it. So, because that's really what the AP exam writing is required. That's it.
The pre-reading activity, so you give them an article, I just read one of the articles we read yesterday, where they skim it, they look at the illustrations, they look at the titles, they read the first and last sentence of each paragraph just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. So that's skimming. A lot of people don't know how to skim, or a lot of our students don't know how to skim. And then they actually read the activities in the big three, that's the exclamation point, the question mark, and the CCC. And then I was going to let my partners put in the read. You want me to do it? So she actually read the article and she was a student and she actually answered it using RACE.
Yeah, you have a model.
And I colored it in because I like to color.
Because I think color pencils. All right, so we had a different order for each part. So like she said, I read the article. I numbered the paragraphs first. That way when I went to cite my evidence, I can say where I got that evidence from. I restated the question and answered it at the same time there. And then I gave the evidence here in the green. And then I elaborated, because this was about whales and they eat up all the salmon. And then so I tied that to the Everglades and the pythons in the Everglades, etc.
That's great. I mean, seeing that model example makes a huge difference because I know we might be using rubrics, and students can, okay, why